who I am and why would you even learn about the stuff from me. So why should you care, basically? I'm assuming all of you have, or let's say you want to start a business or you already have one, and you want to start getting more clients. And you may have noticed that the world around us is speeding up all the time. I mean, 5 years ago, it was a totally different story. You had so many Facebooks and Twitters and Snapchats and all these applications that demand your attention. And especially that's important when you start to establish your own business. You need to understand, first of all, what is it that you need to focus on, and then how do you cut through the noise, and how do your clients actually understand immediately that you are the person for them, and they need to first listen to what you have and then pay. That's what you're here for. You want to grow your business, you want to have more control in your life, and you want to create results and build a successful life for yourself and the family. Now, the thing is, if you learn what we're about to cover in this webinar, all these things are going to happen for you a lot sooner. This year, this month. The goal of this webinar is for you using those techniques that I'm going to share. If you will apply them in your business right now, it would be really nice if you could get $1,000 at least of extra income. This way, this session is 1 hour. If that could bring you $1,000 in something you did not count on, I mean, I'm going to show you some stuff that works for me. So if you're going to use this, you're going to see great results. Now, why me and why learn from me? I'm going to be the best example for you in a way that I wasn't even born in this country, and I had to learn English. I had to come here and learn the psychology, learn how we speak, how we do things here. I've been here for about 15 years now, and I love it. Now, it's a good sign for you that no matter where you live, no matter what you do, you can basically start from scratch, and I'm going to show you how I'm building businesses into the 6 and 7 figures using a specific set of criteria that if you're going to take to your business, you can get the same results. Obviously, this is not a guarantee. I don't know your situation. I don't know whether you're willing or not willing to do certain things, like, get up early in the morning and maybe go to a network meeting. But in general, when people are buying, they're not doing it logically. So if you want to grow your business and if you want to get the success that you want, and you want to attract the right people into your life, you'll need to understand why they're buying, why they're paying attention to you, and why they're not buying and not paying attention to you if you want to move forward faster. So, I relate myself as an entrepreneur, marketer, and a lover of behavioral psychology, meaning I love digging into why we do what we do. Like if somebody wants to go to the gym, do they really want to go to the gym, or do they just want to get the result at the end of the process? So it's really interesting to me. And after I lived in 4 different countries, I've lived in Russia, I lived in Israel. So I came from the background with no money whatsoever. And not only that, my family didn't have any money. We didn't have anybody around us that had any money. So my model of the world was that money is scarce, basically. There's not enough of it. And typically the people in my environment where I grew up, they usually did some crazy stuff to get the money. For example, in the Soviet Union back in the day, commerce was illegal. If you had to sell anything, or in general, if you wanted to do some commerce, that would be 5 years in prison. What it means is when you grow up in a situation where everything related to money, to business is something kind of on the dark side, it took me many years to overcome this and to actually understand the other side of the coin, which is a lot brighter and a lot better. But that shows you that no matter where you start, you can basically apply the same methods. So right now I've been working with small businesses and helping them growing their sales, marketing, design. But bottom line, give the owners the lifestyle they actually want. So I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And between different companies, I've generated over $10 million of sales in different markets and different businesses. For example, like this is e-commerce website, this is authorships, this is daycare centers and catering shops, mom and pop stores, wholesale food purveyors, blogs, you name it. And these are just a few of those I can mention because a lot of the companies have the non-disclose agreement. But I'm not trying to impress you with the high numbers. What I want to show you is starting from scratch You can go really fast and get the money that you want to make and create the results you want to create, get the people you want. If you pay attention to a small area of human behavior, which is the buying behavior. How can you trigger buying behavior, and how can you make sure that if you have a good product that you can actually sell a lot more of? I'm also a Udemy instructor. You can check out this social selling step by step. A few hours of material, and I had some great feedback there. So let's move on. Why would you learn this? In this fast-changing world right now, it is statistics now, actually. The job stability is no longer available. There's no such thing. If you look at the numbers of the US e-commerce or any particular country in the world, actually, less and less companies hiring full-time, and more of them are taking temporary workers. And in fact, here in US, where we are doing this program right now, most companies are just using temporary staffers to fulfill a need for a short time, and then they fire them. So nobody wants to go through the hiring, through the HR department, through paying all the benefits, because the world is changing so fast right now that the books in high school and universities are very outdated. The information you get out of college right now, by the time you get into the workforce, you need to relearn or redo everything from the beginning, because some products are literally did not exist a year ago, and now it's a completely different industry, like Snapchat, for example. A year ago, it was an unheard company. Now it's $100 million valuation, or probably more. So things like that will keep on happening because we're moving more into the knowledge society, so to speak. We work less with our hands, and we work more with our brains, with our heads. Now, what it means is you'll need to know, again, why people doing something, why they're buying, and most importantly, you will need to adapt quickly. Online demand is growing right now. This is a book by Peter Diamandis. Now, one of the numbers that they're bringing there is now Peter Diamandis is the XPRIZE founder, the guy that went into space, and a really interesting character. You should look him up if you want. But this book, he has something that's called the rising billion. In other words, he's showing that right now it's 2015, and there's about 3 billion people are actively using the internet in the world. In the next 5 years, by 2020, there's going to be another few billion people coming online because everybody has a cell phone today in Africa, in Asia, China, you name it. And some of those countries are growing really, really fast, like India and China, for example. Now, these are new online buyers that will come online, and they will be looking for problems and for the solutions for the problems, actually. So those are the buyers you can have within a year or two if you know how to position yourself, if you know what to do, and how to play your cards right. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. So if you adapt to this fast and changing environment right now, because if you look back 3 years ago, you didn't have so many options, and now we get more jobs now as average. So typical person will have 7 to 12 careers today through their lifetime. Careers, not just jobs. So jobs you could have 40, 50. So if you have this one skill, or if there's one thing you can take from this training, is that you need to learn new skills fast, and you need to choose exactly which skills are the right thing for you right now. So if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to get more clients, if you need to grow that income and those sales, this is the critical area for you right now. You need to understand and adapt to the new buying environment. And I'm going to explain to you why it's a totally new environment. You probably heard that most people get bombarded with 100 to 1,000 ads per day. I mean, numbers are different from depending where you get them from. But let's say if you get 100 messages per day on average, so imagine your client is trying to understand, to sift through this noise and see what are the 5 messages that are critical for them. And in my experience, in the 10 years that I've been in this industry, and the hundreds of business owners I've spoken with and I've worked with, they're all, in the beginning, they don't understand the customer that much. They think they do, and then when we start changing things, they see radical results because there's always a tweak. So most business owners make a few critical mistakes, which we will go over very soon. So stay tuned. Okay, so if you do not learn all this stuff, you will not be able to create the results and the success in your life, and you won't be able. You will be basically struggling on learning things that some people already learned right before you. So instead of wasting years of your time and thousands of dollars of research, pay attention here, because this is really the best of what I've gathered through the years that I'm using right now. This is all live, this is all real stuff, and this is all cutting edge stuff, because that's the information that the airline companies and the car manufacturers and the high-end video game developers are using now, because they want to get you hooked to that computer. They're developing games today that when they hook somebody up to the machine and they see how your brain reacts to it, the scientists are literally standing there and they're looking which parts of the brain are engaged more and which less. So they want to keep this reaction happening, so you are attached to the game and you come back to play as often as possible. So if you want to know what works today to attract your buyers, to make sure they're buying from you, you need to listen up. If you won't be able to pick this knowledge, you'll reject and push away from you the influential people that you want to work with. Maybe it's partners, maybe it's great employees you want to hire. Somebody, maybe an investor you want to bring on board. You need to understand how they're making their decisions and why would they listen to you. And the problem is that the game is speeding up, meaning that you don't have 20 minutes to convince somebody today. People have literally very short attention spans, where they give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds. The average conversion time on the website today is the bounce rate is about 5 seconds, meaning if somebody comes to your website, they don't understand what's going on, and that's the case in 95% of the cases, if not more. They are confused, and there are studies that are showing that when somebody is confused, they just prefer not to do anything, so they just leave. So your clients come into your website today, they look at what you got, they don't understand it, and they go away. They just prefer not to dig around. So that's why the game is speeding up, and that's why it's important for you to understand how buying decisions are made. And you can teach others to do this. You can recreate this in your business, even you are not actively programming, writing books, you're not a copywriter, you're not a designer. You need to know all those elements today so you can make good decisions of where your business is going to. And if your employees are going to show you something, you'll know whether it's a yes or a no after what I'm about to teach you here. And obviously you don't want to lose control over the money making and the business, because eventually you want a certain lifestyle. So we're meeting here today because you want to move your business to the next level and then make some more money, for example, whatever the number is. And that will bring you closer to buying something you want, or maybe retiring, or maybe going to a vacation, or driving that car that you want. So you need to pick this up if you want to get those things. All right, so why do most businesses fail? The number one reason that I saw, and that a lot of studies are confirming, and you can look this up today, there's way too much free information now online, and the problem is how to put it all together. You can get most of the stuff, but if you don't know the recipe, if you don't know the sequence, let's say you wanted to make an omelet. I don't know if you're cooking or not, but let's say you wanted to make some eggs, and I'm going to tell you, okay, so take some eggs, a frying pan, maybe some spices, herbs, and go right at it. Basically, you have the ingredients, but does it mean that you or the French chef who's trained that thing for 20 years are going to make the same omelet? Probably not. But if he'll tell you exactly the sequence, you put the pan first, you turn the fire on, you put some butter, then you crack the eggs, then you mix them. Now, that's the instruction that you need. Okay, if you have the ingredients, but you crack the eggs first, and then you turn on the heat, and then you put some salt, you're going to get a different result. So when you're falling in love with your product, the number one mistake that I see people do is they look at some commercials on TV and they say, okay, so I know what marketing is. It's basically branding. So I'll just show my pretty pictures or whatever I think is great to a lot of people, and eventually it will work. And I've seen this over and over again. And I don't know if you're watching Shark Tank or any of the Profit with Marcus Lemonis on ABC. It's a show about business owners that come in pitching for ideas, hoping to get some funding. So there was a few cases there where people were so in love with their products. Like this, there was one guy from China that spent over $1 million in China. He sold his house. He sold everything he had into developing a golf game, so to speak. I couldn't understand exactly why somebody would buy this toy, but he put everything he had into the toy. And when the guys at the Shark Tank, they asked him, "Okay, sir, how many units did you sell?" He said, "Well, none." So imagine spending $1 million of your money and selling no units. And at the end, so they obviously told him, "No, we can't give you the funding." He walks out, and then the reporter is asking him, "So what have you learned? Are you going to switch to a different product? Are you going to do something else?" He's like, "No, I'm just going to keep going." So a mistake number one is when you fall in love with your product, when the market tells you they're not buying it, they don't want it, you have to work really, really hard to convince somebody to buy it. That's a good sign it's not a good product. Because a good product, if you show it to someone and they see the value of it, they're going to want to buy it. Whatever the cure you have, imagine being able to cure cancer, you won't be able to, you don't need to advertise it. You just show it to the person in need and they immediately want it. So that's a good product. When you're selling a toy that nobody has the problem for, I mean, there's no market that actually needs that toy, you're going against the grain and you're going to spend a lot of money for nothing. So mistake number one, do not fall in love with your product. See first what your people want to buy and ask them, what's the problem that you are having with your business or with this particular area. If you're designing websites, ask the business owners, okay, so what's the problem with your business, with your website right now? They're going to tell you. If you're going to relay that answer back to what they told you, we're going to touch on this later on, but focus on their problem, okay, and be able to adapt quickly. There's a book called Lean Startup by Eric Ries from Silicon Valley. They built a number of startups, 50 and 100 million and up. And they went through something that's called the agile development technique, the lean startup approach, so to speak. So you do a small test, and then you see what the market says. If the market doesn't want it, then you adjust. If you notice, most of the successful startups today, like Facebook, the Groupons, even YouTube, Google, all those companies, they didn't start as what we see them today. They all had to pivot, even Twitter. I mean, they started at something else in the beginning, and then when the market did take it, they changed their model. So if you're willing to be flexible and if you're willing to change your approach until you get the result that you want, you're gonna get a lot more success a lot faster, and you're gonna stop wasting money. The mistake number two that the businesses fail is when they're focusing on themselves. Most of the descriptions that you see on meetup boards and Facebook and anywhere, people are very, very selfish, which is fine. We all kind of wired to take care of ourselves first and to get something for us. When you have toothache, you don't care too much about going to the opera, reading a book or doing something else because you have that one need, and then you go to the store or to the dentist. That need is driving you to fix that problem. So we all have needs, and when we have a need, whether it's medical or whether it's physical, you have a relationship problem, you need some clothing, you need to buy a new car, you need to change a job, whatever the need is, it starts driving your behavior. And this is a very powerful motive. That's who you want to focus on. So imagine you're having an issue and you can't land a job, or you can't sign this client up, and then somebody comes to you to sell something, and all they talk is about themselves. You don't really care. You want to sign up that client. So if they tell you, hey, want to sign up that client? That's immediately appealing to you, and you will pay attention. If they talk, oh, I'm this doctor, 20 years in the business, and I've had 11 books, and I'm PhD, and I'm a master's degree, and you already fall asleep immediately. So focusing on themselves and not the customer is a big mistake. So when you want to sell something, your clients are buying solutions and they don't really care about you. They really want to listen how they're going to get that solution that they want. How are they going to get married or avoid divorce or make more money or get rid of that toothache? Whatever it is about them. It is not about you. And even if you do have the right market and the right product and you are focusing on the solution, it still doesn't mean that people will come and find you. You see that there are many new products coming in and new toys and new gadgets and new services. It's really overwhelming. Most people burn through their willpower by the time it's lunch today, because we're making so many unnecessary decisions that, after come lunch you can't function anymore. So it's first of all, it's a good idea to do your important things in the morning, but even if you have a good product and you have the right approach, and basically you're landing some clients, okay, people are buying from you, but you need to scale that up. And if you're just sitting and waiting, which is surprisingly what most business owners do, or maybe they've tried one or two options and they don't know about the tools available today, they don't know how things are speeding up, and they just sit and wait until they fail. The sad results today are that over 80% of businesses fail within the first 18 months. Now, if you don't want to become those statistics, this webinar will help you avoid that fate. Okay, so assuming you have a great product or service, what's the easiest way and the most cost-effective way to test it? First, you got to talk to some customers. And a lot of people have, issue. They don't like to be social, especially us entrepreneurs. Statistically, we actually more of us are introverts, and we tend to stay at home. We tend to not go to the parties, or maybe we work on this product or we work on this service. We just dive deep there, and we tend to be alone. Now, this is a problem when you want to start talking to people. Your fastest development, your fastest shortcut to the money that you want is going to be find your expertise. You're great at something right now. So whatever that expertise is, there is always someone who's looking for it, meaning they have a problem and they look to solve that problem. We will discuss later how to identify the niche you want to be in, whether if it's something has to do with physical fitness, maybe losing some weight, or is it relationship and divorces, or dating? Is it counseling? Or maybe it's something financial. If you notice on TV, they typically have 4 Fs. They only making episodes and they have content that is related to only 4 Fs. F is family, finances, fitness, and fun. Because if it's only learning without some fun and without some entertainment, it's tough to digest. So that's what the TV station's doing, the 4 Fs all the time, and it's a repeat. So if your business fits in one of those 4 Fs, and ideally those with need, so maybe somebody's really bored and they have a problem, they are looking for fun, but in general, people want some finance, they have financial problems, they have family problems, and they have fitness problems. So if you want to focus on those 3, those are the mega niches, how some people call it. And you always have people that want to pay money in those niches because they want to get fast results. Instead of looking it up online and instead of spending 6 months on getting the right recipe and tying it together, they would prefer to go through it within a month with some guidance for a lot less and get the results. Okay, so the fastest way to test is coming up with the basic model using the lean startup model, and just whatever the service you have, whether it's a software for accountants, for example, you want to come to some accountants' offices and you want to speak, you want to show it to them, you want to give it to them for a test drive for a month or for a week, and then come back and say, hey, did you like it? They're going to say either yes or no, and then you're going to try and take it away from them, and then you see how they react. If they don't care that you take it away from them, then it's not a good product. But if they'll be like, oh, hold on, I really liked it, let me pay you for it now. Now you got a winner. So that's actually one of the models that's starting from nothing. The foundation, Andy and Dane are using. They built a multi-million-dollar business, basically extracting ideas from the customers in need. Basically, they would call up, let's say, you don't have to be a programmer, Let's say you call up some people and you call up 10 fitness trainers or 10 accountants, and you say, okay, guys, what's the problem? What do you need help with? And let's say you start getting some answers that will kind of explaining you, oh, I'm struggling with my tracking down my customers, for example, or I need this forensic accounting software that something is not working. There is always something not working. And if you're asking the right questions, you can always find it. So then when you have the answers and when you see a pattern, you can say, okay, so let me do something for you, and then, we'll test it out. This is the same stuff that Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income is doing. He started a while ago as an engineer. So he wrote a book. He was preparing for that engineering test in California, and he was just recording himself preparing to the test. And then a lot of people wanted to buy that curriculum. He passed the test, obviously, and he forgot about it, put it online, and people started buying it, and that's how he grew that multi-million-dollar empire as well. Nathan Barry with Authority, same thing, same advice. He's suggesting he did it, and his friends did it as well. Creating byproducts of what you have right now. Let's say you have a job, but you're working on something every day, and you're tired of explaining that one thing to your coworkers or somebody else. So instead of doing that, maybe you want to record yourself, put it online, YouTube or your website, regardless of the medium, and then see if people like it. This is the fastest way to test it. You need to show your ideas to people, yes, for free. Because guess what? First of all, if you're going to hold your best ideas to yourself, what happens is your client naturally is afraid whatever you got is not going to work. So we always kind of come to the business situations where we expect it to be 50-50. We want it to be fair on both sides. So if you want to sell something, you say, okay, I'm a professional, so give me your money first, and then I'll show you the stuff that I got. So when you are the buyer, it's a big problem because you don't believe that this stuff is going to work out or help. So imagine if they will give you their best technique or whatever the tool is for free, let's say a software for 30-day trial, and then you see it works, then you got the result without spending any money, then you understand. Okay, then you have no risks of making a bad decision and looking bad, feeling stupid. That's how you create products that people want. Okay, and if you gave them the best idea for free, what do they think? Oh, if that's for free, then what's inside? And if it's not a good idea, guess what? It's even better for you because now you learn this is not a good idea and you need to do something better. You need to adjust, you need to change, you need to move on. What happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is they get in love with this product in their head, even, for example, say, oh, people are going to want to buy this because I've spent 10 years developing this. And they keep it to themselves, and they spend money on the website, and they spend money on logos, and sending it to a patenting agency, you name it. Before you know it, they're $50,000 in debt, no sales, and then they roll it out to find out that nobody wants it. There were many companies that decided to change their website design, and when they rolled it out, actually their numbers went down because the people didn't like it. So nobody cared to ask them and to say, hey, do you like this new direction we're going, or do you guys have a problem? So focus on the problems that are existing, dig for more problems. Even if they have this one solved, what else are you having problem with? So if you talk and you listen, you'll start seeing patterns and you'll be able to replicate those results. And why is that important? The successful people today are getting younger and younger. If 100 years ago you needed to be 40 or 50 or 60 to accumulate some massive wealth, right now it's not the case because technology changed it. The internet 10 years ago, everything changed. So now you don't have to be 57 or 69 to come up with the great idea, or to pay your dues and eventually be able to retire with a golden parachute and have $1 million account. The chances of that happening actually is smaller and smaller because people are they need to learn to adapt to the new technologies faster. And you see 21-year-old guys becoming millionaires because they see technology differently. They understand what people need. They understand looking for a problem, and they just go for it. They just try. They check it out. They're not afraid to fail. Nobody likes to fail, but only through that, when you learn to walk, for example, in the beginning, when you're born, how many times are you falling? before you actually walking or riding a bicycle. It takes you a few times, but you don't give up. You don't sit down to cry. So you continue moving on. So age is no longer a factor for success as it was a few years ago. So you got to be seeing technology, buying psychology, and user experience as one element. If you just throw a website and say, hey, they'll figure it out, you'll see, check it, you can look in your bounce rate in your website and see if people are actually sticking around or they're coming in and leaving. That will be the best test for you. Most websites are not selling, they're not converting, people are not buying from them. So if you want to change that, stay tuned. And the one important thing is evolution kills those who are failing to adapt. If you look at the 100,000-year history of the humankind, to evolve, we are the best species on the planet. Nobody's smarter than us, nobody's better than us. Why? Because we had to constantly push ourselves and take new tools and teach ourselves to use those new tools, and it's speeding up and it's speeding up. So our heads are going bigger, and our bodies are going smaller because the activities are changing, but the key to success is your speed of implementing new ideas, not sitting on them for 4 months and then testing it now on a small scale. Yeah, it's going to be maybe not a success from first, but within a month you'll have 5 ideas tested instead of waiting on this one and never doing anything at all. Chris Guillebeau in this famous $100 startup, for example. A lot of people think, okay, so to be in business, to be successful, to come up with great products, I have to have massive amounts of money. This is another proof. Average startup cost was less than $432. Well, $431 and change. Most startups that created 6-figure incomes were started below $1,000. So the technology is not the problem. You just need to know that people are buying emotionally and they're looking to fix their problem. They may not know they have this problem until you ask about it, but you do not ask, oh, what do you want? Nobody knows what they want. That's what Steve Jobs was saying. If we were to ask them what do they want, we would have, not a phone. No, that was Henry Ford. If we would ask people what they want, we would have a faster horse carriage. So you have to be able to innovate a little and take it, see the future like 1 month in advance, 1 year in advance. Where are things going? We are becoming lazier and lazier, and we want more and more automated things. So depending on your market, there's always a way to improve the experience for your customer and solve their problems. So you don't need a lot of money to test and start a startup today. You can probably test 100 different ideas up to $1,000, and you can read the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss if you want more details on that. Most of those businesses were started out of necessity. So a lot of the people were fixing their own problems. It's a software they kind of never had in the market, so they had to come up with this idea. Or it's a specific shoe that would solve their problem. Or if it's a sitting chair, let's say it's a standing chair attachment for their working environment. It's always something from an experience that they needed to fix. And then what they did, they rolled it out small. They didn't borrow $500,000 on a massive campaign to find out nobody wants it. They found those first buyers, they spoke to them, they found out whether that was a good idea or not, and then they evolved, they changed it, they improved it, and that's how they get to be the $1 million successes. So how do you get more clients in your business? First of all, you focus on those who are looking for you right now. I'm going to repeat that again because this, for me, it was so important when I discovered it about 5 years into my entrepreneurial journey, that in the beginning I thought that, hey, if I have a great idea, I'll be able to convince enough people to go with it. And then it took me 5 years to test it and to understand that that wasn't actually the right approach, and I lost a lot of money doing it. But what I learned is at each point in time, let's say right now, there's only a small percentage of people that are looking to buy a car, that is looking to fix a tooth, right? That is looking to buy a new refrigerator, to go on vacation. So if let's say you're a dentist and you're blasting your ads to everyone, only about 3% of people are actually on the market. Another 10-15% are maybe thinking of whitening their teeth, a month in advance for this event. But majority of people is not on the market right now, so they are not interested. What's the lesson? You need to look for those who are already actively today looking for you. Meaning, let's say you are a landscaping company, and who is looking for landscaping today? Probably homeowners. What do they think in their mind? They probably don't have time to take care of their lawns. And what do? They probably go on Google. They don't just sit at home and talk. They have a problem, and it's already big enough for them to get up, go to Google, and type in best landscaping companies, New Jersey, for example. If that's what happens, those are the people that are looking for you right now. Not the whole world, not the whole town. These are your people. They're already motivated. So it's 5 times easier to give this person all the tools they need to make that decision. When they're buying, they have a few questions, which we're going to touch in detail here. But they basically have a few questions, and they have their money in their hand, and they're going around looking who should get that money. That's the image you want to have in your head. If you want to open, or you have a cleaning business, you have a psychological practice, you have coaching business, you have a web design company you want to grow. There are people right now, they have this problem, and they're doing something. They're either going to the networking groups, they're looking online, most likely they're doing something actively, so try to imagine what is it that they're doing. Look for them, okay? It's going to be 5 times easier for you to present your message. And what do you need to have in the message? We're going to discuss within a few minutes. So don't focus on everyone, and focus on the solution to their problem, not yourself, your expertise, or anything. They just want to make sure you can help them lose 20 pounds of fat within 30 days. They will care, obviously, if you'll say, yes, I'm a trainer later on, yes, I've been doing this for years, but in the beginning, in those first few minutes or seconds where you want to grab their attention, they want to hear the result, not I'm the best guy. They want to hear, do you want to lose weight? That's what they're up for. So when you focus on the solution, not on yourself, and you focus on the result, it's basically your elevator pitch. Imagine coming in, you're having 10 seconds or 20 seconds to explain everything you do, to sum it up in one sentence. Typical formula is, what's the result? Let's say if it's in finances, make $1,000 extra. If it's in fitness, lose 10 pounds in 30 days. If it's a relationship, get married, get your dream guy within 6 months, right? A step-by-step plan. So what's the result that they want? Measurable result. The second is the mechanism. For example, without costly advertising cost, or without strenuous workouts, right? If you focus on the right eating, you don't have to work out as much because your eating is going to take care of a lot of fat for you. So it's the result plus the mechanism, and plus what to do next. Okay, I'll give you the formula later, but that's your elevator pitch. I'm helping people get rid of 20 pounds of fat within 30 days. Done. Next, you want to be able to tell them, okay, do you know somebody who can use my help? And that's it. That's your referral. That's your networking pitch. Next. So how do you come up with pricing? And I see so many businesses drop the ball on that. They want to save the world. And I actually did a nice blog post on this. On the same Shark Tank, they had an episode with a guy from Florida. He was a farmer. And I think it was Tree TP. It was a device for farmers that you kind of put this plastic cup around the flower or whatever is growing, the small tree, and all the water inside is kind of hitting that cup and it's staying there. So bottom line, farmers spend 95% less water than they would have, saving them thousands of dollars. And the guy was like, okay, I'm selling it for $5, I think. And they were asking him, okay, so how much does it cost you to produce it? He's like, $3 plus some costs. He's like, you're just making $1 of this device? He says, yeah, it's the farmer. I mean, how can I charge a farmer? So that was a typical response of, a good, hard-kind person saying, I just want to make this $1 and that's good for me. He's not pricing it from the savings point of view. So if a farmer is saving $10,000, would he really care if he paid $5,000 for it instead of $1,000? He's still saving 10. So yeah, I mean, he wants to save 9, but in terms of production, so this guy couldn't grow right because his product wasn't priced correctly. And he had this problem, I just want to make $1 on top of it. So you're not charging it right. If you're looking at the profit you're just making on top versus the value you're providing. If you're helping somebody fit into their wedding dress 30 days before wedding, how much do you think that's worth to them? To look great on the wedding pictures, to not be ashamed in front of others, to have their high school friends come over and not be shocked how overweight she is, for example, or whatever the motivator is. She could have paid probably $1,000 for it if she truly got the result of getting rid of that extra weight in 30 days and she looks great at the wedding. If I was a bride, I would pay $1,000 for it at least. So this is how you price it, for the benefit, not for the cost of production. For you, the cost of production is probably your experience and maybe showing up 4 times a week for the workout. We'll touch on the price framing in a second. So how do you come up with the pricing? What's the problem cost to your client? Let's say if it's an accountant, you call them up on the phone and you say, okay, so you're having this software problem. Yes. Why is that a problem? Well, I'm spending 1 extra hour of doing this stuff where I don't want to do it. If I had a software that would fix it, I'd love to look into it. So okay, so how much is 1 hour of your time worth? $25, for example. Okay, so 5 times a week, you're spending 1 hour, which is $25, on figuring out how to fix this problem. Correct. That's $125 per week. Correct. That's $500 a month, and that's $6,000 per year. So if you do not fix that problem right now, you're going to end up losing $6,000 of your time within 12 months. Oh, he says, yeah, I'd never thought about it like that. Exactly. So now your software price just went up. You're saving him $6,000 of his time, and let's say your software is $50 a month subscription or $500 a month flat fee, whatever the terms is. But now when it's framed versus 6,000, it's a totally different ballgame. I was mentioning this to one of my associates. For example, let's say you go into the store and let's say you're looking for a pair of shoes if you're a woman. How do you know if those shoes, let's say it says $350 on the tag. How do you know if it's a good deal? You don't. You don't, because there's nothing next to it. But if it says $1,500, if it's crossed out, and now it says $350, now you're getting a bargain, because you have that reference point, what it was and what it is now, or what's the savings versus the price. You understand the difference here? If you just have one element, if you have a good product and you're having a hard time with people buying it or paying you, or they haggling at the end, that means that you didn't frame the cost or the problem or the value in the right way. There is always a way to frame a chair, a pen, anything. You need to learn how humans buy, and the difference between the cost and the price is one of those triggers. There's a study that shows that most sales are happening when, let's say, you go next to a store and you see like a sale, 40% off, 60% off, 70% off, whatever the percentage is. So most people would get in at 60% off, and that's the trigger, because they feel like they're getting the 60% value, and the store is getting only 40. So it's, the customer feels like they won. It cannot be 50-50. It has to be more for the customer, and then you have a winner. That's for framing the value. So this is an example of Shopify, for example. If you have 3 options, and why 3? This is the power of the number 3 that was proven many, many times by different studies. For example, the way your brain thinks is 1, 2, 3, many. So if you have 5 products, you have 7 products, you have 20 products, it's many. If you have 3, it's a lot easier to understand. I mean, traffic lights have 3 colors. Phone numbers have 3 groups. The area code, and then 2 parts in it. So 1, 2, 3. Names have typically 3 parts. Here you have 3 options. Why? Because if you just have the one, it means nothing. If it's $29 but it's not against anything, you don't see how it works or how it's valuable. If it's 29 and 79, that's okay already, but the studies are showing that 3 is the best number. There was a famous Marine Corps study where they had to, the Marine Corps wanted to find out what's the best number for the military to use in their groups, in their exercises, in their missions, in how many soldiers, in how many submissions. So they came up over and over again with the number 3. Why? That was the number where they made, let's say, 3 people at in 3 hours or 3 chunks of time doing 3 different missions with 3 different orders. Were doing the best versus 4 and 2 and 7, and they've tested different options. So 3 is over and over kind of coming as the simplest way to understand things. So if you just have one product, you're missing out on many sales. If you have 2, you're missing probably on the third or half, because I've seen few businesses where, let's say, your third tier option, in this case it's unlimited, the 179, let's say that 179 would only 20% of people would buy that option, but the profit inside that package is so much higher that that would bring to the business more than 50% of all profits generated. So I'll say it again. Maybe most of you people buy the cheap product, but most of your profit will be made with the top tier product. Why? There are always people that will prefer the luxury or the top end. This is the best. Okay, I'm gonna take the best. Whatever it is, they have the money to spend. Or maybe they want some personal guidance from you. They want to feel in the best way. Okay, I'm getting the best for myself. If you notice, when you're going into a car wash, you have 3 options, right? You had the bronze, the silver, the platinum, or whatever it is. The way human mind is working is when you have one option, you say, okay, should I buy or should I not buy? If you have 3 options, it says, okay, which one? And here, obviously, you highlight the medium product, so it kind of it's a no-brainer versus the first and versus the second. So again, you can do this in every market. You can frame 3 different packages with 3 different numbers in 3 different ways and test it out and see that you're going to get a lot more sales like that. Those 6 triggers that you should write them down, take a pen and paper. And I see them, I first started noticing how this stuff works probably about 7 years ago or so. Reading different studies, psychological, interesting experiments, and seeing how people will make buying decisions when it didn't make any sense. For example, there was a study with Hershey's and Godiva chocolates in possibly Harvard. I may be getting the school wrong, but it just struck me the study as so interesting. So they had 2 groups of students. One group of students was paying for the chocolates. Okay, so let me take it one step back. Okay, so 2 groups of students. So first group of students, they gave them an offer to buy Hershey chocolate or Godiva chocolate. The Godiva chocolate was for 85 cents. The real price of it was 85 cents. Let's call it $100, for example. So it's going to be a lot easier for you. So the Godiva the original price was $1. They had the choice of buying it for 15 cents. So 85% discount. The Hershey chocolate, which is not as good as Godiva, the original price was 5 cents. And it was it was for sale for 3 cents. So the savings, the percentage savings on the Godiva chocolate was a lot higher, right? You were saving 85% on the best product versus 40% on not such a good product. And you know what? 75% of students took the Godiva chocolate. Okay, they wanted more savings. So now, what changed? In the next group, they've changed the Godiva to 95% discount. Okay, now the Godiva was 5 cents, but the Hershey became free. What happened? What do you think? Totally different result. In this case, as soon as you introduced a free level product, even if it was not such a good quality, over 70% of students took the free product. Why? Because risking the 5 cents, and maybe if there was a stale chocolate, it wasn't good, it wasn't the right choice, versus a free one was a lot better choice for them. So it wasn't the logical decision in terms of getting more savings, right? Better deal. You save 95% off on an awesome product versus getting something cheap, not necessarily good, but for free. So most people took the free stuff because they didn't have to make any decision. And even if it was a bad chocolate, they would just spit it out. How can you take that into your business? First of all, you have to introduce something free, right? This is reciprocity. We're going to talk about it in a second. But I just want you to start understanding that you think people biologically, but they're actually not. And when you see somebody from on the first time, when you see a book cover, when you see a magazine, when you see somebody kind of approaching you on the street if you don't know them, within a snap of a second, your brain and your subconscious make 20, 30 different decisions. Are they tall? Are they strong? Are they dangerous? Are they clean? Are they nice? Are they going to talk to you, or are you going to talk to them? I mean, are they hunting for you, or you should be hunting for them? It's all happening on a subconscious level because we are programmed to be in the survival mode most of the time. And I've noticed that in the successful companies, in the successful website launches, in the successful movies, there's always like a recipe behind the curtain, and for me, like, I see it like a glowing map in my mind. So every time I see a piece of content or I see a website, I'm immediately looking for those 6 things, and if I don't find few of them, I know the business is losing money. And most businesses don't have all of them. Maybe they have one, maybe they have two, but I rarely see, actually I do see all the 6 of them installed, but those businesses typically have multi-million-dollar budgets, and they have 5-6 people to figure this stuff out. Okay, like, again, airline companies, Facebook and Google people, they definitely know about this stuff. So here we are. The 6 triggers you want to intervene in your product, and you want to weave it into everything you do. So first of all, authority. What is authority? A lot of people think that to be an authority, to become an expert in something, you have to spend 1,000,000 years doing it, or 10 years, or you need to be a PhD, you need to have all those accolades. And it's actually not true at all. The way human mind, again, works and reacts to things is we are programmed to respond immediately to authority. And for us, what is authority? It's somebody wearing a uniform, maybe a police officer, a doctor, fireman, somebody wearing a suit and a tie, right? Like a nurse wearing a white gown. If you see certain elements, your brain is already kind of triggered to react in a different way. So with authority, typically, if you want to become authority, all you need to do, you just need to know a little bit more than the other people know about it. What does that mean? Like, if you right now go and you read a book on web design, you will know 99% more of all your friends about web design, unless they're web designers that spend 10 years on it. So in general, most people that are kind of buying something, they are newbies. They need to be educated. They need to be explained what they don't know. And the way you become authority is when you start educating them, and when you start sharing, basically you start explaining the problem in more detail than they can actually understand. So if it's, again, weight loss, you say, hey, it's not only you need to lose the weight. The weight loss is not only for your health, for example, but you can fit into your clothes better, you're going to have a lot more energy, you're going to live longer, and if you don't do it, all those things are not going to happen. So you start sharing with them sides of the problem that they may not necessarily thought about. You immediately, in their mind, they think, okay, if you know all those details, then you have to have the solution. Okay, they immediately assume that you are the guy to fix it, or the girl. So authority is achieved very easily. Just describe the problem you're solving and the solution in more ways than your clients can get. Can now assume that, let's say, there's only one way. Language. Actually, one more thing about authority, that I just recently saw a documentary called Digital Nation on PBS. Really cool stuff. And one thing that really shocked me is they're now IBM. They have a huge campus in upstate New York. I think it was built for like 60 or 70,000 employees, and now it's virtually empty. Why? Because most of their meetings are now happening online, virtually 3D. So there's like 1 or 2 guys sitting in the office, another guy's in the Philippines, another one is in Brazil, somebody's on the ship, and they have a virtual meeting, and they're all meeting, through those devices on their head, kind of they flying to the meeting, so to speak. And it's really cool, but kind of creepy. You see the whole building empty. Now they have one division, which is the research division, and they've showed some really cool experiments where they're gonna, if they will upload let's say they're gonna put you in a 3D game, right? Imagine yourself being inside the game, and In the game, though, they create, let's say, a typical image for you, right? You're going to look exactly the same in the game, but they're going to make you 3-4 inches taller. And now the game is negotiation with somebody else. What they noticed is when you are 4 centimeters, inches taller, all of a sudden your chances of winning that argument are 3 to 4 times higher because you think you're taller, the other person sees you're taller, so you are the authority, and you feel like the authority, and you win those arguments, you win the negotiations just by your brain sees it as you became a little bit taller right now. Now, what's even more scary, or maybe even interesting, is after the game is done, they see those results continue effect in your life. So just this one experiment of adding you 4 inches in your mind in a game, so to speak, when you come out of the game, you feel you're taller and you feel like a bigger authority, and it is changing your life. So the way our brains react to things is totally fascinating to me, and I think those are the best and the simplest things, and you're going to see how they fit in together. So authority, explain the problem in more ways they can understand. Language, you have to use simple 6th, 7th grader language. That's actually the trick that most best published authors using, because when people buy those kind of books in the airport, in the ShopRite, or when they're going away, they want to disconnect. There's a guy, Robert Patterson, and he famously comes from the direct response marketing, and I think he publishes a book like every week or something. But he's really a bestseller. Why? The guy knows who the reader is. He's using a simple language that everybody can understand, a 6th grader, 7th grader, anybody. It's not complicated. And when you see a lot of experts, when they start explaining things, they're giving you all those technical terms that immediately kind of you glaze over and you're out. You're again, when you're a little bit confused, you're not going to take any decisions. So you don't want to confuse your buyers. So whether it's your website, your marketing, the more fancier terms you use, the more people you push away. So step it back, make sure that a 5-year-old can understand, or not 5-year-old, but a 12-year-old in this case can understand what is it that you're talking about. Call it the grandma test. Talk to your grandma. If she cannot get it, simplify it. Reciprocity. This is what we were talking about, the free line with the chocolate, but when you, this simple example, when you go home to a dinner, when you're invited to a dinner for someone, what do? You usually bring a bottle of wine with you, or maybe a cake, or some kind of a gift where you don't have to, but you want to be nice. You want to bring a gift where you don't have to. And so what happens on the other side? Now you're a friend. Oh, you came to me with something in your hand, kind of. You're not a freeloader, So immediately we're friends. You're gonna bypass my bullshit detector. So this is a neat, and a lot of people don't do this in the business. I don't understand why, but you want to share something for free, whether it's a free consultation that will be able to convert, and I can show you how to sign those people up. But if you keep your best things to yourself, your people will not buy. You're probably stopping yourself from 4 times the amount of business you could be doing. You have to share. So reciprocity means we all growing up kind of in from the time we are born, we are taught to reciprocate. To if somebody does something nice for us, we have to do to be nice to them. There was a study again that if I were to give you even a banana today, or a pen, or scissors, or a napkin to wipe off your forehead, anything. If you were to ask it, let's say, yeah, here's a pen. There you go. Thanks, buddy. Tomorrow, if I come to you and I say, okay, hey, can I borrow your car, or can you help me move, for 4 hours and push this piano up the stairs? I'm gonna ask from you something which is 100 times higher. You're gonna feel the pull to reciprocate. You're gonna be, it's not fair, but all right, So what I'm trying to say is, it's not logical again. If somebody's doing it to us, we already we are programmed to reciprocate and to give back. So if you're gonna give to your clients, they're gonna give back. They're gonna buy from you. Okay, that's the fastest way to understand it. So bring a free gift. And there are techniques how to package and which information to give out so you still have a business, but there's a balance there. But start being more open and sharing the ideas and helping for free. Testimonials. People want to see that they're not alone, Nobody wants to be first. When you go to the cold water in the pool, there's always that first guy, somebody who's testing the water. So you don't want it to be you. You want it to be somebody else, right? So we always kind of wait for somebody to do the first step. This is exactly the same case here. So when you come to a website, for example, and you do not see testimonials or on your marketing material or somewhere, and testimonials, there's a trick to them. Like, they have to be measurable. It's not just, oh, I love it, it was great. It's not a testimonial. It's just, it's not measurable. I don't know if it's going to be great for me. But if you say, hey, this guy built my house for $100,000 less than I was, given an estimate by somebody else, now that's a testimonial. So it has to be measurable. But testimonials, this is social proof. They show to your buyers that it's okay to get into this water. Somebody was here before, and they're not going to be the stupid one for making the first chance and for the first step and for it not working out. So you have to have testimonials. 2, 3, it doesn't have to be a million, but you have to get some. And if you're just starting out, go help 3 people get the result you think you can get them, and then tell them, okay, can I use you as a testimonial? Yes, then put it on your website. Now you're good to go. Scarcity. Scarcity, again, not logical, but, well, actually, maybe this one is logical. What we perceive as something not enough of, we want more of it. So you always see deal until supplies last, right? Or you have to come up with this deal until December 31st, 12 p.m. If you don't have a deadline, people will take all the time in the world to make a decision. So if you give them 2 days to make a decision, they will take exactly 2 days and they will make a decision in the last 5 minutes. If you're going to give them 5 minutes, they're going to make the decision in 5 minutes. So give them more choice, you're not going to achieve anything. So less choices and more kind of guiding them by the hand. But if you don't have any scarcity, like a limited edition cars or only 20 people you work with on a monthly basis if you're a coach, maybe you have only 20 programs available for free this month or for that price, and then the next level is at a different price. There's always a way to frame scarcity, and you have to limit supply in some way, or price, or time frame. There has to be a limit of some kind if you want to create an interesting reaction where people want it more and they want it now. Obviously, we're going for those who need your solution. They need your product, right? You have a quality product. And if you have all those 6 things there, you're going to get 5 times more result as long as you test it. And the last one is anticipation, a surprise, something to look forward to. So it could be, this you buy something online and then the package is in the mail for 2 days and you can't wait for it to arrive. This anticipation is building pleasure for you. There's a study again by the game developers today. I think they're hiring really the smartest psychology professors available, period, for them to figure out how to get you hooked into the games even more. For example, they would connect, the children that are playing it, and they would see. I don't know if you played any Call of Duty games or most of the games today on Zynga, Facebook. They have what's called gamification. Is giving you the elements of a game, so it keeps you entertained. Why? Because every time you feel like there's a reward coming or reward happening, you're gonna stick around or you're gonna come back for more. So what they see is in the game, they see in the brain how the brain zones react, and they see that there's more dopamine, the happy hormone. There's more pleasure people getting from anticipating the new reward than from actually getting that reward. You understand the difference? If you know you're going to go to the next level in 2 days, or for those 2 days you're going to be excited, then you go to that next level, you're feeling that jolt of happiness maybe for 5 seconds, and then you want the next level, which may be 3 days. So the anticipation is a lot more powerful than having the result. If you're looking forward to a date, maybe that pleasure of expecting the date and then not knowing or guessing is going to keep you on your toes, it's going to keep you engaged. When you know you have, let's say, game tickets for a Super Bowl 6 months from now, you're going to be excited already now, anticipating into that game. So whatever the anticipation is, even if you break it down to the basic thing, just over-deliver. Send them something extra they didn't anticipate, okay? One more thing that is a bonus for them. So to summarize, you need to weave those things into your product, service, website Facebook campaign, and those are pretty simple. Explain the problem in the broad light, more details than they can understand. Use simple language. Share some of your free stuff for free, some of the good stuff for free, actually, show, give them a limited trial for the software, or help them get a first customer. Do something for free. Show other people getting that result. Okay, this guy got that many clients, and this person saved $100,000 on this. It has to be measurable. Say, okay, so there's only a limited amount of this is available or will be available, and then anticipation with a surprise, or just look forward to next updates. We're constantly working on it. This stuff is used by the cutting edge communication companies, internet companies, game companies, Facebook. Anybody who's online today, they understand that to get you hooked, to get you paying attention, they need to have that recipe created immediately. So if you don't have it, you will not have the time to explain it. If they look at your website and the bounce rate is 3 seconds, they're gonna go away because they don't understand what you have, and they don't see all those things. They may be confused with the language. They may not see you as authority. You may be using different, not the right colors. They may not have a free thing from you, so they don't like, they're a little bit uncertain about what they're getting. Your testimonials may be vague or not at all. You have no scarcity. Basically, you say, hey, come in anytime you're ready. I'm here for you. So there's no rush to buy the product, and there's no anticipation. There's no surprise. I mean, they never get to that part. So even if you don't have 1 or 2 of them, you're already losing clients. But imagine most of people have none of them. Okay, so if you're going to use this in your business, this is the shortest way to you're making the money that you want. So how do you get 5 times more result than a typical entrepreneur who's overwhelmed, is constantly in analysis paralysis and thinking what to do or what not to do? You may have heard of the Pareto principle, the 80-20, that 80% of your results will come from only 20% of your actions. Let's say they find in a lot of financial companies that 80% of the money they make is coming from 20% of the clients or the stocks. In real estate, 20% of the agents making 80% of the sales. They're selling 80% of the homes. So this is kind of a general principle applied anywhere, but same with your business, with your time, with your finances. So with your business, for example, what's the one thing out of 5 that will give you 4 times the result? 5 times the result. What is it, one thing? And for most businesses, as Edward Demings used to say, he's one of the most famous business gurus, that there are 2 key things in the business that are innovation and marketing. Innovation doesn't mean come up with a totally groundbreaking idea. It could be just new packaging, a new, better way of doing something. So something new to the customer. And the marketing is make sure they know about you. So if you have a new beehive, go to the beehive expo and make sure they see it. Okay, if you're sitting in your farm and nobody knows about it, it's a great product, but innovation and marketing. Okay, so what's the 80-20 in your business right now that you have to do? It's probably coming up with those new products, okay, and making sure people know about them. So you got to package the knowledge right, use the 6 triggers, and then you got to automate what you can. So for example, if somebody comes to your website, you got to have the email responder, so you capture their emails. Why? This is one of the most profitable marketing engines today is email marketing. It's cheap to do. You get access directly into the person's phone next to their friends' emails, their work emails, and it's sitting there. You're paying pennies for it. And this is your audience. If you have a good message, they will want to hear from you. Warren Buffett says it's 5 times easier to sell to an existing customer than to acquire a new one. So all the money is made on repeat business. If you're going to sell to somebody a $10 product, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sell them a $1,000 product later. Why? Because they know the $10 works. It's not about the money again. It's about they just want to make sure they're going to get the result you have. So you see a lot of authors kind of have the free book but pay the shipping and handling. So you have some kind of an entry-level product that will bypass that trust barrier. So packaging the right products that solve the right problem for the person, and just talk to some people and find out what the problems are. focusing on marketing them and building systems that will work even when you sleep. Let's say you go for a vacation, your website can still collect emails and send something back on the program. There are ways to double and triple your sales online just with email marketing. And this is a summary. You can take a snapshot of it, or I can actually email it to you later. So this is the summary, and I've used here on the left, you see the green. This is the 4 learning styles. This is the work of David Kolb from Harvard. According to him, most people make the mistake is they're trying to relay information in only one domain, meaning that there are 4 different kinds of people in the world, and each of us kind of getting information in a different way. We're kind of asking questions. So the one type is asking the why question. Why should I learn this? Why should I care? Why should I pay attention? Like in the beginning of this webinar, I said, okay, why do you want to learn from me? Because I went through this before. It took me 10 years to dilute the formula. I've made money in different niches and different businesses. And hey, you can get results here just by using this. You can save 3 years of development as long as you just apply it. Okay, but that's the why. You're asking, why should I learn this? The second style is asking what. What is it? What's the formula? What's the numbers? What's the trivia? What's the explanation? Okay, that's the professors and the conceptual thinkers. They don't care the why, they want the what. So if you do this stuff in your business, a lot more people will understand you. Actually, if you're just using the one style which you understand, and you think, hey, I mean, have you ever had the situation where you told something to somebody, and then you come back or you meet sometime later and they're like, they did something completely else. And you're like, but I told you. But for them, they needed to be maybe, they needed to be shown, or they needed not to hear, but they needed to read this. So we have different modalities. And if you don't know about this stuff and you spend money on advertising and you just do it in your way and you're missing 75% of the audience, it's a problem. Just by weaving in the 4 styles and all the messages you have, you're going to appeal to 4 or 5 times more people than you did before. So this is a summary with the styles and with what we went through right now. For example, so what was the focus? The number 1 column, the summary focus on future growth and 1 billion online. Okay, that's the 1 extra billion of people. So what's the intro? You got to cut through the noise today if you want to attract the right clients. That's how you grow your business and your income. Okay, why? Times are changing fast. You can get more clients if you learn this, and less if you don't learn this, right? You're going to lose control, power, and fail as a result. What is it? Average conversion time on a website is 3 seconds. So if you don't have the 3-second rule nailed down, then you're losing clients. Okay, that's the trivia. That's the what. The how is the step-by-step. Okay, so what do you do? So you need to learn new concepts that work. You need to adjust. You need to adapt to the new environment. And we will do a few exercises later on so you can do that. And the objections, the what if, that's the style that they need just the one next step and they're out to test it. They want to do it in the world and you cannot show them, they need to experience it for themselves. Okay, so that's the what if objections. So this is very simple information to get. Okay, you don't need to go to college for 5 years. You just look into human buying behavior or apply this information here, and you're going to get a lot more results. And then what's the action step? A lot of businesses drop ball even here. Even they have all the 4 elements. They have the great product. They have a great marketing. And then, okay, so it's up to you now to figure it out. They don't say, come in and buy, or give me your email, or whatever the action step is. They need to be told what to do. Okay, so, and it needs to be obvious. So this is the basic breakdown, and that covers that you need to focus on the clients that are looking for you right now. Okay, those problems that are solving, those products that are solving a problem, because that's a very strong driver. You got the 6 triggers, and now how do you put it together? Okay, so with the right client, with the right message, and the right social triggers, you have an irresistible offer. Okay, if somebody has a toothache right now, and they're looking for it right now, and you're saying, okay, want to get rid of your toothache in 5 minutes or less, for example, if that's your product, you got their attention. Okay, now you got to come up with irresistible offer. Let's say typically it's a $200 session, but for you right now it's $60. You have 3 seconds to convert those that kind of come to your site, that see your product, that go to your Facebook page. People are overwhelmed. If you think they're going to dig around, they will not. Again, look at your bounce rates. You're going to see that people are coming and leaving, coming and leaving, coming and leaving. You're losing a lot of clients because there's no hook. They come in, they ask a few questions. What is it? I don't understand it. I'm out. Okay, I'm not. If they don't understand me, then they don't have the solution I want. Okay. If they're not clear on what's the solution, what's the product to buy or not to buy, they're not going to do anything at all. So that's why they're leaving. Okay, so you have your elevator pitch formula. The pain you solve plus the technique used or the recipe. So make that omelet with no eggs. Well, that's an interesting omelet. But there's the solution with the mechanism. Okay. Frame the price as we were discussing. 3 options. Make sure they're making sense. And call to action. Okay, do you know somebody who can use this? Do you want to sign up today? So you gotta be able to say what's the call to action. Okay, don't drop the ball here. So test this in your business. Don't take my word for granted. This is working for me. I'm able to use this stuff in, as I showed you, many different industries. And before you sell your business or you run completely in doing all this stuff, test it out. Start small. Take 1 idea, okay? Take 2 ideas and then combine them and see it. This is what drives all the humanity right now, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere because this information is really cutting edge. We did not have all this data with the studies and I mean the 3-second bounce rate and the colors that convert and the websites. 5 years ago, we didn't have it. Okay, now the knowledge in colleges is so outdated. They're teaching kids things that already are not relevant. So by the time they come out of college, they need to redo it again. And there's not enough of information out there. And if you are able to put it together, you'll spend years doing it. Okay, so this is my at least 10 years of experience, and I'm really into it. You can probably tell. I would appreciate your feedback, and I hope you're gonna live long and prosper. If you want me to help you out, we still have 10 spots available for the program. I will help you. You know, this is going to be 4 different modules. There's going to be 4 trainings. We're going to start on Thursday. It's going to be a weekly recording. You're going to get all the details later. If you cannot attend, it's going to be recorded. So I'm going to send you the recording so you can access it anytime you want on your phone, on your email, and take it at your pace. But it's going to be 4 sessions, which will go into detail into exactly the areas we were discussing in how do you come up with the right product for your business. Okay, how do you package them together? How do you market them the right way? If you have any website issues, you're going to submit your website. We're going to do a website clinic. I'm going to tell you what works, what doesn't work, and quick fixes that will put money in your pocket right there. So those trainings are typically, as you know, the rule of my triggers. We typically work with only 25 students, and right now we already have 15. I need 10 more. We have so far 10 more openings left. The price is $297 for all the 4 sessions. You get the recordings for free. And for the next 10 people that sign up, it's still the same price. And you get a 30-minute phone session with me personally to work on your business, to have your unique situation addressed. I'll give you my best ideas. I'll tell you what I would do with your situation, and I'll share with you my 15 years of sales and marketing experience and running a business and marketing a business and copywriting and web design. All this stuff today is just one thing that gets you more clients. This is a rare opportunity. I'm not exaggerating this. Our business is growing, so we're testing different ideas and we're building a platform now, so it's kind of more accessible to more entrepreneurs, but it's also going to get more expensive. So right now, this is a one in a lifetime opportunity. For $300, you can get the value is over $1,000 here. I work at $250 an hour with the clients. So for me to come up with this training and to do this all with the videos and with the content I'm going to give you, it would easily be 4 hours, right? At $250, that's already $1,000. The free session half hour, it's another $125. So you're getting $1,125 for $297. It's basically what, $75 per per session. I'm not working at $75 per session, but since this is a group training, we can do this. And the goal is to help you generate results, to help you make clients, to build maybe a system that you're missing right now, to show you that element that you're missing, and to put $2,000 in your pocket, way more than $300 that you're going to pay. So you can send your payments today to dilexusa@gmail.com. That's dilexusa@gmail.com. To those who will send the payment, I'm going to send instructions to the registration and to the next webinar. It's going to be awesome sessions, and we're going to have some testimonials for the next ones, obviously, but the people that worked before made tens of thousands of dollars. I cannot guarantee that you will make it, but that's my job to try. If you feel I can deliver on this for you and bring you more money than $300 you're going to pay me, I highly recommend you enroll. But if you don't have a good product, or you're not planning to develop a good product, you know, taking advantage of people, you're having some kind of a pyramid scheme, you don't really believe this is working, this is really not for you, not for troublemakers, not for non-action takers. If you already started a business, you know this makes sense, and you know this is cutting edge technology. This can make you tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run, because you get to keep this knowledge for the rest of your life. And I wasn't able to find all of this here anywhere. For me, I needed to go look and put it together. And how do you apply it now? Okay, so I will help you tie this all and create the 6 triggers in your business and have a killer offer that will help more people. And so you can finally relax and get that lifestyle that you want, and why you started a business, you know, maybe go for a vacation or buy a new car. I will talk to you soon. If you have any questions, we can do some Q&A.